there, guys. I'm Chris Bowden.
I'm Todd Kirchner.
Welcome to the Geek Group. We're here today on the main set playing with an electromechanical nightmare. This is a 1972 Williams Swinger pinball machine.
It is.
And, oh my God.
I love this thing.
This is just cool.
I love this thing.
Now, we had a guy not far from here, over on the west side, who was cleaning out an old building, and he had an old pinball machine. He couldn't get to work. He plugged it in. Nothing happened. And it sat in his garage for a long time. I went through touring the building. It was like, that looks like fun. How much you want for it? And he quoted an insanely high number, but I got to talk him down, and, well, now I have a pinball machine. And the idea was I wanted to get this for my apartment.
It's a good place for it.
The problem is,
fun in the lobby,
I
too.
got it, and then I got thinking, wow, it would be really cool to have a couple of these in the lobby, because this is... And then I got looking at other pinball machines, and I've decided, like, I went on the resource database that you sent me, of, like, all the machines, and they have the top 10 pinball machines ever, like the most... would have been
popular.
voted to be the best ever.
Sure.
Like the Star Trek one.
Yep.
And
Addams Family, I know, was up there. And Twilight Zone.
Then one of our board members heard about that we were in the pinball, and she was like, "You got to get the Black Knight. That's like a thing. It's this huge thing for her." She's like, "You got to get the Black Knight." So now pinball's a thing around the lab.
Excellent.
And then
I love pinball.
I find out that our very own Todd Kirchner, when you was a little boy in the old country, used to repair these. This was your job.
This was my job. I did pinball machines, arcade machines, like the stand-up arcade machines, and pool tables. And
this has gone so far that, as a hobby, you built an arcade machine, a MAME engine.
I did, yes.
Which is going to be a whole nother video here. That's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
But we got this.
Yep.
It's archaic technology. It's all entirely electromechanical. There's no the only computer in here at all is this cam-driven thing.
That's not even a computer.
Yeah, that's as close as it gets.
The closest to silicon that we got on here is that bridge rectifier right there.
Oh, hey, there is a solid-state component in here. Okay. But this is entirely relays and latching, and it's terrifying. It's rock simple, but it's amazingly complex in its simplicity.
It is. It is very complex.
And you know all about this stuff.
I do. And
that's cool, because there's a whole world of people out there that don't.
Even better.
And think this is cool.
I think
so, I have the pinball.
Yes.
What do we do to make this work?
Hopefully we just turn it on.
Okay. Now, we've done a fair bit of work to get to this point.
We have.
Just so that we could begin this video series, so we could just get the machine to power up. Take us through what you've done so far just to make this happen.
Well, one of the first things that I did was replace the power cord. I don't know if you saw the old power cord.
Oh, the zip wire lamp cord?
Yeah. It was a brown. It may still be around here someplace.
I hope not.
I think I pitched it. But we put a nice industrial, grade power cord in there.
Okay.
That was the first thing, and we put proper grounding on it because
it wasn't grounded.
It was not grounded.
Which is okay. It's all wood. You don't really need a ground. It's fine.
Yeah. Never mind that your hand is on metal while you're playing it.
I got to ask. Speaking of the sides here, these are labeled escape.
I guess that's if you get caught inside the machine.
This is just the way out.
Okay.
I just noticed that. I looked out. It says ESC, and everyone does it, and then like, okay. I have no idea. All right, what else you do?
So the other thing we did was did some voltage checking and found out we had a bad fuse. This 15 amp down here was popping on us. We've actually gone through several of them. I have a breaker on the way, so that if we start having this trouble again, we'll be able to troubleshoot it properly.
Just a simple resettable breaker that'll fit in that fuse block?
What we'll do is we'll solder it. We're going to use a broken fuse, solder it onto the terminals of the fuse, and then pop it in there so that you can just touch the button and
the voltages here are all really low.
Yes.
I mean, the highest voltage down here, as far as things, because it comes in at 115, but it knocks it down to like 24 and 36 and 6. And
now, some of the other things that we've done to it, too, are remember when the flipper came in? The flipper was all bent backwards and weird, Well, and it looks like, and this is a big no-no, I don't know if you see this or not, but you notice how much grease and oil is on this thing?
Yeah. It's not supposed to be like that?
You're never supposed to put any kind of oil or grease or anything like that, especially on these things.
Because fire or?
Well, no,
just
because it gets gummed up.
Okay.
It collects. I mean, this thing is obviously you get rubber dust and
Oh, there's all kinds of dust and
of,
mold, and I mean, look at the wiring loom.
Yeah, and it just all it does is it collects all that stuff and it gets gummed up, then it can't operate properly.
Okay.
So that was one of the issues. The other, this limit switch here was actually stuck back behind the actuator. This thing was all the way back on the other side, and it was stuck and flipped over on the back side of that thing, so it wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't operate at all.
Okay.
And just for educational purposes, you notice that all these coils have got two. Most of the coils have got just 2 wires on it, as it like a normal coil.
But some of them have a third down here.
Well, the flipper ones specifically have a third.
Why?
Interesting. One of them, there's actually 2 coils inside here. One of them's a high power, low ohms. One of them's a low power, high ohms.
Okay.
And what happens when this thing goes, when you hit the button, the high power one kicks on and moves the ball, okay? When it gets all the way to the end of stroke, this is the end of stroke switch.
And then the low power one just holds it there?
It opens and the low power one holds it so that it doesn't burn up the coil while you're holding the flipper button.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's only for the flippers.
That's
the other
only for the
ones,
flippers.
The other ones just actuate and
Right.
move to where they need to be.
Right. You got it.
There's so much with just mechanical latches and contacts, and it's madness.
It's pretty cool.
So now we're at a point, though. Like, is there anything else that we should talk about before we turn on?
Let me think. I can't think of a whole lot right now. There is some. I mean, we can talk about what we did on top of the Playfield.
All right.
A little bit.
Let's close it up and get ready to fire it up.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, there is one thing I did mention. This. Do you remember this?
Yeah, we replaced all this.
Let's talk about that for just a second
here,
because I want to.
I'll put your stick up here. Go ahead.
Because I want to show you what I did here. This pinball plunger. This is original. They're made out of really cheap plastic.
Okay.
It's bad. It's just really bad. And what had happened is when we had this down, it wouldn't seat properly. When you do this, it
was out of alignment.
It wasn't centered in the hole. So what I got, and I looked at this, when I pulled this apart, there's screws down here. When you pull it apart, there's 3 posts. There's actually a little triangle thing in here.
Okay.
Triangle cutout, and there's 3 plastic posts that the screws fit into. Each one of them, every one of them was cracked and busted off.
Which is why it was all...
Which is exactly.
How'd you fix it?
Super glue.
Did it work?
Is it moving?
It works.
It works.
Okay.
So I used super glue. I went down, saw Moose.
Grab that side.
She hooked me up with some good super glue. And
Moose has a lot of adhesives down in the machine shop.
so if you look at it now...
Yeah, it lines up and everything.
It lines up perfectly. Now, let's take a tour of the Playfield a little bit so we can talk about
we
what's
start
going
here.
on.
We talked about this.
Yep, there's the plunger.
The ball leaves here, and is there a name for this? The groove here?
Shoot groove,
Launch groove,
something like that.
So it leaves here, and then the next stop for the ball is going through the one-way flap,
Yep.
which works fine.
Yep, and then the rebound bumper.
Rebound bumper, that's this.
Yes, that's
now
that.
this is
We haven't
a little
replaced
worn
this
out.
yet. This one needs to be replaced. I got to working on it, and it's.
And you can adjust this. I see there's
you can adjust
4
it.
different locations for it.
Yep,
Okay.
you can. It's on there. It's on there pretty good. You're really going to have to.
You gotta want it,
You're going to want it.
and we're probably gonna end up having to replace these 2 screws when we do it.
Maybe. I think they're sex nuts underneath here,
Okay.
so that's why I couldn't get them out of there.
Okay.
I don't have anything to.
And that's a real term that you can learn about in our video series that we're doing for BoltDepot.com. Sex nuts are actually that's a thing.
That is the thing.
So, all right.
And what I did up top. Oh, these are pop bumpers,
And that's these 2.
and these are pop bumpers as well.
Okay.
Actually, I think this is just a pop switch. These are just a switch, I believe, and these are the bumpers.
Okay, so you get points when it hits these, but these it actually kicks off
You
because
got
it's
it.
got the part on top that yanks down.
You got it. And these are all adjustable and rebuildable.
That's good because we need new caps for these.
We do.
Oh, hey.
They just pop right off.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But they didn't. When I pulled this apart, you can see how loose this is. This is pretty loosey-goosey. We may need to get some new.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But there were no lights in here when I found it. When I opened this up, there was nothing in there. I know they were burnt like that.
Yeah, it's melted.
There were no lights in there.
Okay.
And I showed you those lights online earlier.
The LED replacements with the bayonet bottoms.
Yes.
For $1 a piece, they're not bad.
Yeah, 89 cents.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to. They're expensive compared to the 5-cent lights that are in here.
Right, but it's a one-time replacement.
Yeah, and if you want to rebuild the whole machine, that's a really good way to do it.
And you think about how cool this will look, you know, because the LEDs have got that instant-on kind of look to them, where the bulbs kind of they take just a second to turn on.
I don't know how I feel about it.
So yeah, I understand. I just think
I can see that. I like the advantage that they'll last forever. You can pick colors.
Yes.
And it's a lot lower current draw on the machine.
True. Very true.
With the antique wax wiring, that helps because it's really low voltage, so current draw actually matters when you got 100 lights that you're dealing with.
True.
Okay.
That's true. So yeah, it comes up here and it hits this. There's a switch up on here.
Did you fix that one?
I did fix that one. That was another fix that we did. It was kind of wonky in there.
Oh, that's a finger-eating thing too.
Yeah, you don't.
Because this.
There's a reason there's
jumps
glass
out
on there.
Yeah, this thing jumps out and it will bite you.
It will bite you if you're not careful. Yeah, I think it bit you.
You redid all the rubber. We replaced all that.
Yep, these are called pinball terms. These are called rubbers.
Okay.
And we replaced every one of them. We came with a kit. We cleaned up. There's some. We used Novus 1 and 2 to clean the plastic because the plastic. Once these rubbers stay on there for so long, what happens is it gets gungy and starts sticking to the plastic, and especially if they've been sitting for a long time.
And this had been sitting in a garage for 10 years.
Yeah,
so yeah,
quite a while.
You redid the playing field.
I cleaned up the playing field. What I used is carnauba wax, car wax. Actually.
Really?
Yes. And that's what they recommend to put it. There's mill wax. You can use mill wax. Is another pinball version of it.
Okay.
There's several different kinds, but
we didn't need to repaint it or anything. There's a couple nicks and some worn spots,
yep,
but
especially around the pop bumpers.
The machine's almost 40 years old, so that's totally allowed.
It is totally allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely allowed. And there were some really strange things about this. We didn't have quite enough of these little rubbers.
Okay.
So I still have, 2 or 3 of the little ones to replace.
But they're serviceable?
Yet. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they feel right.
Yeah, these are the new ones. This is still the older ones here, but we'll get to that. That's something we'll have to get. I think
Shall we turn it on?
You may turn it on.
Oh, no, you got to do this thing.
Now
this is where it grinds through all the.
Yep. Now it may pop the fuse. It may not. I haven't done this, so this is kind of the moment of truth.
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
I'll flip the switch the other way. Hit it. I think we popped the fuse again.
Could be.
Because that snapped down, so it told me it had power for a moment. But nothing works.
Well, we will verify that.
Well, it's supposed to
Yeah. Yeah, you got it. So we'll take a look at that in just a second.
So what's the next steps to happen on this? Like, what are we going to be doing in the next video? We ordered the flipper kit.
We ordered the flipper kit. We ordered actually several things. Flipper kit is coming, which is going to rebuild. We're going to new coils and all of the mechanical pieces for the flipper kit, which includes all of the the actuators. There's special plastic inserts here.
We were wondering whether or not we needed those, and judging by how much this wobbles, I'm guessing we probably do.
It can't hurt, especially for putting it back into service and it's been sitting for so long. Those plastics, they start to get brittle.
Okay.
And they wear quite a bit, so it's one of those things that, for a little bit more money, just get it done.
So that's where we start. We're going to start with these and then just work our way across.
This target needs to be fixed. I know that for sure.
Okay.
We've got to wire off on the bottom. That's one of the things that we've got to fix.
I'm amazed it works as well as it does, because this is old solid core wire, and this part moves.
Well, if you look at it, it's got different wire on that part of it.
Just to handle the repeated motion?
Yeah.
Because I was wondering how they handled that and kept it from snapping, because it always moves in the exact same way over and over and over for thousands of times over 40 years, and yeah.
I mean, obviously, It's busted off now after 40 years of use, but...
Okay. But that's the opening video for this. That's where it all starts. As we go through this series, we're going to be going through all the individual parts. We're going to be going through the wiring in the back.
Yep.
We're going to talk about there's a word for this.
Back glass?
The back glass. We're going to talk about the back glass itself and the image and possible restoration ideas here.
Yep.
All the electromechanical controls and the settings.
There's quite a bit of stuff back here that actually integrates back with down here, and one of the things I know goes wrong with these things is that stepper unit back there.
What is that
That's
number?
credits.
Oh, that's how many quarters you have in it.
Yep, that's how many quarters you got in it.
We got to make the quarter thing work again because that doesn't work.
That's another thing. That's another thing down here. If you look at these things, these little switches are just mangled. They're bad.
But these are things you can get these today. These are stock items.
These little switches down here aren't, but these
the
coin max.
quarter unit we can replace.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And there's a little relay down here. I don't know if you know what this is. You see this little relay down here? That's a coin lockout. What that's used for is there's ways to hack the machine if this isn't in there. It's kind of interesting.
That's a whole video right there.
It's kind of interesting. But what this does is when the machine is off, it prevents quarters from being accepted.
Okay.
Okay. But also, like when that big wheel is turning up underneath there while it's powering up,
Yeah.
okay, it also locks the coin back out at that point, because if you put coins in during that cycle, it'll rack you up a whole ton of credits.
Okay. And it didn't take long for somebody to figure that out.
No.
Okay.
So this is a coin lockout, and there's several reasons to have it. For our purposes in here, it may not. A lot of people just take this right out of here because it's more trouble than it's worth a lot of times. But it's a restoration, so we'll restore the best we can.
Most likely what I'm going to want is a button that we'll put somewhere on like down under here or something, where you click the button and it activates the coin like this. So it's
what we're going to do?
I just put a quarter in.
See the coin return here?
Yeah. That becomes the new button.
You got it.
Okay, that's a cool system.
That way, it's all original.
Yeah, and it'll still accept quarters and work the way it's supposed to, but there's a secret button that if you press the button, you can play for free. And
Exactly.
Cool. Okay.
Exactly.
That's handy.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming today and kicking off this video series. We have parts that are ordered that are on their way for the next bit, but that's the first video taking us through what we've done just to get this to where it would turn on so that we could come to this point and flip the switch and it won't turn on.
Exactly.
This is my whole day, man. This is my whole day. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions about restoring old pinball machines, comment below with your question and we will do what we can to answer, because he knows stuff about things, and that's kind of cool.
Things and stuff.
So until the next time, I'm Chris Bowden.
I'm Todd Kirchner.
And that's the Geek Group. We'll see you later.
This video was made possible by a grant from the Future Girl Foundation.
This video was made possible by thousands of private donations from members and viewers like you. Please visit thegeekgroup.org for more information on how you can donate and become a part of our dreams of Avalon.